I'm getting started right about time, so everything should be good. Anybody that's coming on in a little bit, I just appreciate everybody that's watching either while it's live or later on. So I thank you for spending time with me this morning. I know that there's other things that you could be doing and other channels that you could be watching. So it's time for Quilts and Coffee. I've already had my coffee and maybe my brain's awake so we can have a good show this morning. And I hope everybody's had a good week. I'm feeling better than I have for the last few months. So I'm sorry I haven't had out much content the last couple of weeks. I have been extremely sick, and I am feeling better, the last couple, 3 days. So the content is going to start increasing. And I had to put a little thing about Bobo in there this week to kind of bring a little lightheartedness. And but I do have some quilting things that I'm working on, and some things that I'm gonna, publish something later this week. So, like I said, I do appreciate you spending time with me, whether you're watching live or you watch later. And so if you saw previews either from the short or from the community tab where I posted pictures, I had an older set of 10-inch squares. It was 42 squares. And I had watched an older tutorial from Missouri Star Quilt Company. And I'm going to just say, you're going to hear a lot about where did I get some of my ideas, or, kind of like a quilt review from them, because they are the tutorials that I watched to learn how to quilt and to get some patterns that were easy, that had, that looked really good with not an extreme amount of effort. And that's kind of what I'm geared for, because I like to see results. And I like to have, work in it, but I like to see some results. So Missouri Star Quilt Company kind of offers that to me in the mindset that I have for quilting. And so I had that beautiful pink and grays and a little bit of beige fabric that I had from a long time ago. I probably had that for about 7 years. And then I took a mingled gray blender and I had that ready to go. And I started that Wednesday night about 9 p.m. And I worked about an hour and a half on Wednesday. I worked about an hour and a half on Thursday, and I worked about 30 minutes last night. We had a lot going on yesterday, so I didn't get a lot of sew time in. And I work full time, and I've been sick and haven't been able to work, so I haven't been able to sew either. And so I haven't really spent a lot of time on this. I haven't had an opportunity to finish it, but I have enough finished where I can give you tips and tricks about it and let you see a good portion of it where you can see how it all lays out. So I went and I made this fabric into the T block on Missouri Star Quilt Company. The thing about the T block, let me show you the finished block. I've got one right here. It's just got a sashing at the top, and then you cut your blocks, your 10-inch squares, in a 4-inch piece and a 6-inch piece, and then you put sashing in between it. The trick to this quilt is you must be consistent. If you start sewing with one size of your cut block on, if you start with a smaller piece, then you have to continue to sew it the same way all the way through, or you're going to get opposite hand blocks. And so it will make it a little more difficult to just randomly sew. You would have to plan. And I had gotten some of the blocks sewn, and I go like, oh, good, these are going to be square. I can turn them every which direction. No, it's not. If I had put the sashing between, then it would have been square. So you have to kind of lay it out the way that they laid it out. But this is the block. Just being consistent is the key to having success with this, and not have to, really think it. But and it was real easy to sew. You can chain piece this. And I have a good section of that quilt finished. Like I said, I didn't have time. I started really late because I've been sick this past week. But I have a good section of it finished, and I'm going to stand up and show you what I've got done. And let me turn it this other way because you'll get to see more of the effect of how it looks. Let me stand back a little bit too. And this pattern is excellent for larger prints. These flowers are so beautiful. I hated to cut them up. So let me show you the fabric a little bit better where you can see the colors real good. I hated to cut that up. That is so beautiful. And, but this pattern makes the fabric really show. And I have enjoyed sewing this. It is not difficult. It's just, like I said, being consistent about how you sew, keeping everything neat and in order. And so I didn't even know how beautiful this fabric was until I opened it up. I mean, it is gorgeous. And I've had it for a long time, but this is kind of one of those things to stretch you, to actually get something out that you have stored up. Sometimes when you open it up, that's when you see something, and that makes it to where you get a little motivation to sew. And that's what this was. I've had this and I go like, I really need to use this. And I am so glad I did. And I probably would have used this a long time ago, but I really never looked at it. There were multiple prints of the nicer prints. There was 4 and sometimes 5 repeats of the nicer prints. I probably would have used this for something else before now, but I never opened it up. But it has made a beautiful start of a quilt, and that has been very simple and very easy to go through. And then yes, Michelle. Yes. And it is beautiful, and it has multiple prints to that fabric line. Sometimes you get one of the really nice floral print, and then you get a bunch of the others that I call kind of the filler fabric that's not as nice, but goes with the line. And this has like, some of them had 4, some of them had 5 duplicates. And so that helps you to plan something. And then, like I said before, a lot of my quilts that I'm going to be doing are from Missouri Star Quilt Company. They do very simple quilts where you can get a lot done, have some results and everything. That last one that I showed you was the T-block, and this is Falling Charms, I think. And it is easy to sew. It is very easy to sew. And it's just a charm square with a background on each side. And then you design it, you lay it out to where everything cascades. And so I'm going to open this up. This is some older fabric. This is something that I probably did about 6 years ago. And this is very, very nice. Yes, Michelle, yes, that the fabric designers, yeah, they get you with the good print, and then I think they want you to buy the yardage. And so I had done this quilt probably 6 years ago. And this is a Maywood Studio pack. I may have some more. I may have some more because this was one of those that I was thinking about making a king size quilt. I think it was poppies. I think that's what I've got the most of. Yes, it was poppies. This is the poppies line. And so I'm going to open this up and show you. And when I made the picture for the community tab, I was looking at it and I was going like, I can think about quilting that needs to be done on that. And quilting is not my thing, but piecing the tops is what I enjoy. And probably one of the reasons why the quilting is not my favorite is I really am not practiced at it. So this is the Falling Charms quilt that I made. This is several years ago. I know you're seeing the sunlight come back and showing you my handiwork with my ironing. But you know, this is a very pretty quilt. It makes a big quilt rather quickly. And you can have some of those see, it's got some of those what I call the filler prints, and then it's got some of the real pretty flowers. But this makes a very nice quilt, kind of traditional looking. And then, you know, I've used the cream background. You know, and getting this out has sparked interest in me actually quilting this. And you know, I just have a traditional sewing machine that I do all of my sewing and all of my quilting on. I have bought one of those smaller quilting tables that you put your personal sewing machine on, and it's better than your personal sewing machine, but it's really for like the $700-800 that you spend for it. Save that money and get you a long arm or a Moxie. Yes, Michelle, I understand about the shoulder thing. I have my shoulder and my neck because of a car accident that I had years ago. And I thought that I could get one of those little smaller table things and help. And you have to pick it up and move it so many times and unhook it. And it's like even a smaller, like personal size quilt, you will have to, from side to side, you will have to pick it up at least once and reset it. And so it still has a lot of work to it. You don't have a lot of room front to back because your regular machine will not have enough throat space, even if you have a quilt version machine. So I'm just going to tell you, if you hadn't bought one of those, save your money for Moxie. I'm trying to do that because you know, I would love to do some of those beautiful stitches that they do. And so one other thing I wanted to kind of tell you what's going on is if you've been keeping up with me and my channel, my regular sewing machine that I have loved, you know, I know everybody has their personal preference on brands. I have a Viking 875 quilting sewing machine. And I love it. I love it. I had bought it used many years ago, and it had still gave me great service, and I had to have it serviced. It was starting to act up. You know, all the little troubleshooting things were not working. I had to go get it serviced, and I had nothing really to sew on. Well, thank you, YouTube, for providing me someone giving me comments on older sewing machines that will last and stand the test of time. I have ended up going on eBay and buying a used sewing machine, a vintage, but not, you know, fancy vintage sewing machine. Okay, if you do that right, you can get these fairly cheaply. And I had seen the review on it, and it has very little plastic or nylon parts. So this if you just maintain it after I get it serviced, it's going to do me to do piecing. I can save this for doing quilting because it's high speed. That way I can save this very expensive machine to doing what it was made to do and then use that as my workhorse. And this works excellent. It's very excellent. There was only one thing. One of these little spool holders got bent in shipping. It did not bother anything. The main thing you're going to have to watch with an older machine is it's going to need cleaning. The oiling that they've done throughout all the years, it's going to get sticky and gummy, and it's going to, and even if they say it works great, you need to get it serviced as soon as you get it. This was a steal. I think it was like $30 with tax shipped and to me, maybe 35. 35. It was 35. And nobody was bidding on it. It was the only one like it. It's not pretty, but it works great. And I had to wait till it got inside and warmed up. You can't, get it just out of the box when it's cooler weather. You have to let it accumulate. You have to let it come to room temperature before you start moving it, because the gears and things will be a little bit sluggish because of all of the old oil that has gotten worn, and it'll cause it to lock up. You could actually strip something out. But other than that, I have sewn on it a little bit. And, check on YouTube. I have been watching Randy the Sewing Machine Man. He loves a Kenmore. He loves a Kenmore, and he will review singers, old singers, and he'll tell you which ones are the best ones and which ones offer the best features and which one has the least amount of plastic or nylon parts. And I found one that was similar to this, and there was a little helpful tip in there that he told me about, that if I hadn't done that, I would have had a little bit more problem. This model has a magnet in the bobbin holder assembly to hold the bobbin holder down. Well, if I use a metal bobbin with that, that will cause a different tension and would cause different stitches. And so I had ended up getting some plastic bobbins, and it sews great. I just don't want to sew on it anymore till I get it serviced. But just, I don't know if you've gotten into that, but this was a great deal. You have to search for them. You have to be careful at, just like regular eBay things. Just watch the reviews of that person, read the details, ask them questions. If they won't answer your questions, you please don't buy from them. But after I get that service, that's going to be my workhorse, and then this one is going to be for quilting and for decorative stitches and things like that. And so, if anybody's got any questions, please, or other comments, please send them in. And I have enjoyed doing these live shows. I appreciate everybody coming in. I appreciate everybody tuning into my channel. It's just been really great. I hope everybody has a great week this week. And I know I'm feeling so much better. Oh my goodness, it was really bad last week. And I am so glad that I have a community of friends that are out there, and we've all kind of got the same idea. Let's make something beautiful for someone else and be encouraging to someone else. And, like I said before, I know that you can spend your time doing other things and watching other channels, that there's lots of other channels. I appreciate that you spend time here. And this week I will be adding more content and, try to get the motivation going and so that we can help spread some encouragement around to everybody else. So if there's not anything else, I'm going to go ahead and um, end it for today. Planning on having another one next week, same time. And then, you know, let y'all get to your day. I appreciate you spending time with me. Everybody have a good week. Thank you. Bye bye.